Hey friend, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris, and I'm really excited about today's video. This video we're going to be talking about chords in Studio One, specifically finding the chords in your songs. Now again, as in the previous videos, this is an older video that I made a few years ago from a course that never went live. It's called Composition for Songwriters, and basically it delves into teaching composition techniques from the traditions of Western classical music, but sort of in a more down-to-earth way. If you're a songwriter who doesn't really want to learn anything about music notation, but you're still interested in some of the composition techniques, that's what these previous videos have been about. But in this one, I'm just kind of showing a handy Studio One trick that I think is really useful for anyone who's making music in Studio One. So if you're a beat maker, a songwriter, whatever it may be, this video will be of use to you, I hope. And this one has an Easter egg that I was not planning to include. I didn't actually think I'd be able to find this, but in the video, I mention a module that I had included in the course when I made it, years ago. And it's like an old slide deck module, like Keynote or Google Slides. And it was a module that I built that had all of this functionality in it. Like you could click buttons to go next and go back, and there was like quizzes in it and all this stuff. And I was able to find the slide deck in my files, like on a hard drive or on Dropbox or something. And so what I've done is, instead of including the original slide deck, which would be cool, but I actually was not certain that it all still would work the way that it was supposed to work when I first made it. So instead of including the PowerPoint or the slide deck, what I've done instead is I have made a PDF, and it is a massive PDF. It's like 72, 73 pages long. And so when you see in the video that I reference this older module, just know that in the description of this video, you can click the link down there below and get access to it for free. So it's just the content. It's not the quizzes or the other fluff that I had in there that was, it was not fluff. It was actually useful and meaningful, but I just was not sure that it would all work the way that I had originally envisioned it. Plus, if you don't have PowerPoint, which I think is where it was originally built, and you opened it in Google Slides or Apple Keynote, I wasn't 100% sure if it would work the way that it was intended. So I figured it would just be better to give you the content for free, just the information. But it's got stuff in there about like pitch versus frequency, rhythm versus meter. And it just kind of breaks all of this stuff down in a really down-to-earth kind of way. So if you're interested in learning more about that, what I would call the elements or the essentials of music, which is, I was sharing that in advance of the, they weren't even real students because this wasn't even a real course. But the idea was that if the students took the course, they would take this module and they would do the whole thing before they did my course. So it would give them a foundation for the information that we would talk about in the Composition for Songwriters course, if that makes sense. So so there's, again, free access. If you go to the link below in the description, you can find it there. And then finally, I just wanted to say, if you've been enjoying these videos, do me a favor and like and subscribe. You can hit the like button below. You can subscribe to the channel and hit the little bell so that you don't miss any notifications when I put out new videos. It really does help the channel to grow. And if you get something out of it, if you have an interesting idea or takeaway from the video, feel free to put a comment below as well. I'd love to interact with y'all as well. I'm happy to answer any questions if you have them. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this video. Hey everyone, welcome back. So I want to give you a quick little look at how you can find the chords in your song. The first method is, a little bit more step-by-step and requires, some additional things that it may seem a little bit tedious, but in the end, this particular method will probably help you more if you're stuck on your melody. The other method is, I like to call it the so easy it's basically cheating method, where you're basically using the technology as a crutch. But in some cases, it can be useful if you're just trying to get, something into Studio One so that
I guess so that you know the chord structure and can really quickly see it and use it to your advantage if you're kind of in a pinch or in a bind. Okay, so let's head into Studio One here. I want to show you. I've actually recorded a couple of things before jumping on to this particular video. Now, on the top left-hand corner, you can actually hide the tracks that you don't want to see. They're still there, but you can hide them. So the top two tracks are the ones we've been working on: the audio track, original audio track, and then the MIDI that we extracted from that. So I'm just going to hide these by clicking. I click the little hamburger menu over here, and I'm just going to click the little dots, and it hides them. Okay, so I'm going to put. Now we got these two new tracks, right? Now these are kind of in a weird order. The first, I'll play the chord progression first over here, and then I'll play the other track that has the individual notes of each chord played out on the guitar. Okay, so here is the original, just kind of played it really quickly in guitar track that I recorded. So you get the idea, right? It's just the same thing repeated over and over again, just a basic guitar track. Now, that's the chords played all together as chords, right? They are stacked, they are vertical, right? Now, I played them individually, each individual note up here. Now, as you can see, I've already gotten Melodyne to analyze this, if you remember that from a previous video. But let me just play what each individual note. This is a way to get Melodyne to tell you what the notes are so that you can then stack them later and see where they are via MIDI, or what they are via the MIDI editor. So here we go. Perfect. And let's do this. I'm talking a little bit too. There it is. Now let's do the next one. And that's it. So here. So anyway, I played each individual note in. Then so I'm double clicking this because, again, I've already hit Command M to analyze with Melodyne, and then I double click it and it opens up the Melodyne notes. Now, I just wanted to tell you, I ran into a bit of a snag with this, and so if this happens to you, let me just tell you how to fix it. When I played each individual note in, Melodyne just detected a single note the entire time, which is not correct, right? These are different notes. So all I did is I went up here to algorithm. It was set on universal. I just changed it to percussive pitched. And you may have to play around with these different algorithms. Once I changed it to percussive pitched, it could tell, for whatever reason, it knew that this was a D, and that this was an A, and that this was a D, and not just all A's. I'm still relatively new to Melodyne, so I'm not really sure exactly why it was doing that. It could be that, Universal's better for vocals or something, but at any rate, I was able to get Melodyne to pull out the individual notes. Now, as you can see, here they are. And if we just want to, let me get one of our instrument tracks back. It's confusingly called audio, so it sounds like it should be an audio track, but it's actually an instrument track, as we can see from the keyboard here. Again, to get the MIDI out of this, we just literally click and drag this file onto the MIDI track. And there it is. Let's mute the original and play the MIDI. Now, you're going to hear some extra notes in there because Melodyne is hearing lots of different things, overtones, whatnot. So it will put some extra stuff in there that you'll have to delete later. So let me just play this from, actually, we'll just use the, hang on. I was going to say, let's use this, but let's make it bigger. So this is, I just literally clicked the little arrow. You see this arrow right here to expand it out to its own window. And that'll allow me to see what it's doing a bit better here. All right, so let's, oh, hang on. I'm trying to make the, there we go, the notes wider. All right, let's start at the beginning and see what this sounds like. All right, so that's really quiet. The velocity is really low. So if we just click inside this area and click Command A, or we could just hit Select All. If we right click and click Select All, it's going to select all of the notes. I'm going to come down here and just pull up the velocities of all of them so we can hear them a little better. Okay, so click into the little blank space. Try it again. So we know that these do not belong. Neither does this one. So we've got okay, now just so you know, those are 3 different notes. There's obviously 4 because these are the same right here, just an octave apart. They're spelled 12 semitones away from each other, but they're the same note. If you look here at the keyboard, right, we can cheat here a little bit and see that this is a D and that this is a D, right? So they're just an octave apart. In the middle, there's an A. So if we were to take this chord and spell it in thirds, so if you remember from the introductory PowerPoint, in the introductory module, there's that Essentials of Music for Songwriters PowerPoint, where we talk about how chords are spelled in stacked thirds. So a major chord has a major third on the bottom and a minor third on top, and a minor chord has a minor third on the bottom and a major third on top. Now we're going to include the little kind of the cheat sheet that I made for that PowerPoint in this module. It's a separate PDF with a yellow background. It's got a keyboard on it, and it kind of shows you how to calculate your intervals by just counting up from the original note on the keyboard until you get to the next one. And it will tell you how many semitones away from that original note you are, and then also what that interval is based on that number of semitones. That's a lot of information. If you watched the PowerPoint, if you went through it, you probably will know what I'm talking about. So go back and look at that particular section in the PowerPoint module. But if I want to spell this chord in thirds, I can do that. Now it takes a little bit of time, right? Because this is part of why I mentioned that this is a more tedious version. But we can do it. Let's take out this note here, and let's say, okay, we got D. We'll get rid of the extra D here. We don't need that. D, A, and F sharp. Oh. So if we wanted to spell this in thirds, to get a major third on the bottom, we would need to spell it 1 half step, 2 half steps, 3 half steps, 4 half steps. So actually this F sharp 3 is way, way up there, like an octave above. If I bring it down here and put it right there, right above the D, let's make the D lined up a bit more. And then I put the A, see the A is already in place. I can drag it out, and now I have a major chord. Let's play it. See? So this again, it's very convoluted, but you can use this method of using Melodyne to detect your notes, by playing them individually out and then stacking them. So the reason this is useful is because it trains you to see what the notes are in your chord and to kind of know how to make them into a more, compact, standard major or minor chord. And obviously there are other chords too, which, we can get into that. But no matter what the chord is, even if it's really complicated, it still has to be spelled in thirds. So you want to be able to spell it in the most basic form with the original root note on the bottom and then all the other notes above it in thirds. That's just how they're spelled. Now, the reason this is useful is because if you're stuck on your melody and you're not sure what to do, knowing what the individual tones or the individual pitches in your chord are can really help you to sort of solve that puzzle, right? So, we could do this with all of the chords that we just played and spell it out. But just know that this is available to you. I want to show you now the second version of this method, which is, again, so easy it is cheating, basically. So if I click, I'm going to get rid of this hamburger menu here, and I'm going to go up to the top area here, this 3 little hashes. It looks kind of like the hamburger menu, but it's going to basically open, there's several different types of kind of global tracks that you can open up. And there's several here, but I'm going to open up the chords track. Now, Studio One is really smart, like really smart, right? So if I take this original strummed version, let me actually hide this part up here. I'll leave it there, doesn't matter. If I take this original strummed version, so see, now I have this really tiny little track up here at the top that just appeared, right? And it's called Chords. If I click and drag this original strummed chord progression all the way up to that track, and I put it right there. See, I get that blue little highlighted section with a little plus on my mouse. I drop it. Okay, look and see what this did. Got to zoom out a bit. Hang on. Oh my goodness. See? So easy, it's cheating. It gave me a D chord. It knows that this is a C chord. It also knows that this is a G chord. And check this out. It put these down on the track as well. So Studio One, being super smart like it is, analyzed the chords and is telling me what they are. Now, what's more, I can actually take this chord track and use it to arrange my song. I think I can do this. Let me just drag this G over to here. Well, it didn't actually move it down here necessarily. Let's see if that sounds different. Let's actually, I'm going to undo. I'm going to click follow. Okay, so now it's not following. But if you have MIDI on in your song, you can actually move these chords around and have the MIDI chords change based on how you've moved them around. So anyway, that's all I wanted to show you. I just wanted to give you a brief look at how you can use Studio One's features to kind of unpack your chords, but also just tell you, again, cheat and tell you what the chords are. Now, it's not going to be perfect, right? But it'll give you a rough idea. And this is a great way to kind of start arranging the smaller pieces and turning them into bigger pieces and bigger pieces and bigger pieces until you just have like a much better arrangement than you started with, or at least a different one, right? Because we're building toward that. We're building toward like you knowing and understanding your song better so that you can make some creative decisions about how to move forward. So I hope this was helpful, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.